Something on Twitter today and social media as a whole bugged the hell out of me. Now, the last time I spoke about Michael Jackson was when Sam Smith spoke out of the side of his proverbial neck and said that he didn't like Michael Jackson's music, but he loved the song Human Nature. Now, all of this stuff is going to come full circle and it's all going to connect somehow. I went in on him. Stephanie Mills definitely had her way with him. Not in that way, but you know what I mean. And that's that. That was last week. This week, a couple days ago, as a matter of fact, probably not that long after the whole Sam Smith thing, there was this article that got put out about Post Malone, who is this white rapper out of Texas, where it said that Post Malone has beaten a record previously held by the King of Pop, Billboard Rights. It says the Texans rapper debut album Stoney recently clocked its 77th week in the Billboard Top R&B/Hip Hop Albums chart top 10, surpassing Michael Jackson's 1982 album Thriller. I hope y'all are following me here. It says Jackson's LP spent 76 weeks in the charts, top 10 rankings, and held the accomplishment for 34 years. It says the record was narrowly missed by Whitney Houston's self-titled debut at 64 weeks and the Black Eyed Peas, the END, at 63 respectively. But it says that this new Stoney album, which I never heard of and don't plan on listening to, has now surpassed it by being there for 77 weeks. Will anybody even know who Post Malone is 34 years from now? Because to be honest, I don't even know who he is now. I've never listened to any of his music. I've never bought or purchased one album, streamed, downloaded, however, and don't plan on doing so. Now follow me here. Sam Smith said he doesn't like Michael Jackson's music, but he likes the song Human Nature. Post Malone beat this record that was held by Michael Jackson for 34 years on this album Thriller. But the most recent one to come out today that has social media in an uproar was this thing about the Eagles, not the Philadelphia Eagles, but the Eagles, the rock band, surpassing Michael Jackson Thriller album to have the #1 album in the US of all time. And what's so crazy about this is not a standalone album that surpassed Thriller. It's a compilation album of greatest hits. They surpassed him on a greatest hits album. I didn't even know that could even count for being a high-selling album. I mean, it's a compilation of music that they've already recorded from years before, and it surpassed music that at the time would be considered fresh and new. Now, I don't know how all of this is really calculated and what have you, but my gripe with the whole thing is not so much that they surpassed Michael Jackson's Thriller album, but it's the fact of how they framed it. It seems like a lot of these publications have been writing articles to try to diminish Michael Jackson's legacy with this one album. Let me read to you. It says the Eagles once again have the all-time best-selling album in the U.S. upstaging Michael Jackson. Listen to that word, upstaging. I saw another one where it says the Eagles have moonwalked past the King of Pop, Michael Jackson, to have the #1 album in the U.S. of all time. And I've also saw someone from USA Today, and there's the one that pissed me off the most, where it says, "Sorry, Michael Jackson, you're no longer #1," or something to that effect. It sounds like they're taunting him. First off, the man is dead. Have some respect. And two, they had to get that by having a compilation album surpass it. Because they said Michael Jackson's, I think it says 33 million. And I think theirs is now at 38 million. I said this. What people are going to end up start doing is they're going to go ahead and they're going to buy as many Thriller albums as possible to make sure that Michael Jackson gets back on top. Because his music is universal. But here's the thing, though, that I noticed with all the titles of all these articles, and then I'm going to mention the full circle thing. All of these articles did not mention that it was just in the US alone. Globally, Thriller is still the number one selling album globally. It's almost like they completely shunned out all the other countries and continents where this album sold worldwide. Michael Jackson has a bigger, wider, and long-lasting fan base than I believe the Eagles will ever have. Many people of this generation don't even know who the hell the Eagles are. Many people who think of the Eagles, they think of the team that won the Super Bowl back in February. And I'm not even saying that to be funny. I'm saying that to be real. Now, the full circle of this thing is Sam Smith saying Human Nature. What album was that on? Thriller. Post Malone and whatever it is he just got surpassing Thriller. That's Thriller. The thing with the Eagles surpassing Michael Jackson and Thriller. All of them had to do something to surpass this one album. For years, that's what for years that this album has held many records and broken. Not to overshadow Off the Wall or Bad or Dangerous in History and the Invincible album, but that Thriller album is what solidified Michael Jackson, and that album right there is how he got that title, King of Pop, even though I like to refer to him as the King of Music because he covered many genres. Years from now, no one's going to remember Sam Smith. Years from now, no one's going to know Post Malone. And it's been years since that passed since the Eagles have been in their prime and people don't know who they are. But everybody will remember Michael Jackson. That man has literally been immortalized. And the fact that they write these articles what they're trying to do is erase his legacy. And the man's birthday, he will be turning 61. I think it's 61. Or 60, I forget. His birthday will be, or would have been, next week, August 29th. Spike Lee has an annual, I don't know if some of you know this, but if you live in New York, you probably are aware of it. But Spike Lee every year has an annual Michael Jackson Black Party and has had it every year since 2010. I plan on going to it next year. If I had knew about it in advance, I probably would have went this year. That shows you how much this man is immortalized in history. And not just Michael Jackson, but his sister Janet Jackson too, which, by the way, I saw her new video and heard her new song. Loved it. If you haven't checked it out, the name of the song is called Made for Now. But what they're trying to do is because see, Michael Jackson is like the creme de la creme for a lot of black people and, artists as a whole. And they're trying to shun him out by trying to overshadow his most powerful piece of work, which is this Thriller album. As a matter of fact, let me go and see if I can pull up some stats about this Thriller album, because I'm very sure that there is a lot that can be said about this album. Hold on, let me pause this right quick and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm pulling some stuff up right now. What's interesting, it says that the album was recorded from April 14th to November 8th, 1982, and got released on November 30th to 1982. The first single release was called The Girl Is Mine, which is the collaboration he did with Paul McCartney. The second single release was Billie Jean. The third release was Beat It. Fourth one was Wanna Be Starting Something. Number 5 was Human Nature. 6 was PYT, or Pretty Young Thing. And the last song released on the album was Thriller. How about that? And the dates range from 1982 to November 2nd, 1983. This man literally released a song. He almost released the entire album, because the entire album has 9 songs on it. There's only 2 songs on this album that did not get released. And they released them from 1982 to almost the end of 1983, which was almost a year since he released the album. He won 8 Grammys on this album, which was a record breaking, where no other artist in history had ever won 8 Grammys in one night. And I think he was nominated for 11, I think. He won almost every category he was in on this one album. Thriller at the time sold 20 million copies domestically. That was just in the States, 20 million, making it at the time the highest selling album of all time in America. I actually, when I was typing it in the Thriller album, someone has this Thriller album, like the vinyl, on eBay for $1,000. Well, first of all, good luck. In just over a year, at the time, Thriller has sold over 66 million copies worldwide. I'm giving y'all some stuff here. It was the first album to reach 30 times platinum, with US shipments of 33 million album equivalent units certified. It won Album of the Year. It produced, I mentioned the singles that it mentioned. It says Thriller broke racial barriers because Michael Jackson became the first black artist to debut on MTV, which was only known for playing white pop and rock artists. So to all you people that love MTV, you can thank Michael Jackson for that. That man moonwalked into MTV and said, here I am, and here I'm going to stay. And I think that's probably another reason why he ended up becoming, quote unquote, the king of pop. Let me see if there's anything else here. They mentioned something about Reagan, but who cares about Reagan? It says the album was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame the same year with Off the Wall. That he had 2 albums go into the Hall of Fame the same exact year. How about that? It says Slant Magazine named Thriller the best album of the 1980s. That means out of every single album by any artist that come out that year, that album right there got named the best one of the 80s. Let's see here. Let me see. In the countries of Australia, Austria, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, UK, the US Billboard, and US Hot Black Albums, it went to number 1. I think the lowest it ever was on any chart at the time was 6 in 1984. In 1983, it was number 1 just about in almost every country that it was released in. But in 1984, the lowest it was ever at was 6. That means it did not go below 6 before it fell off the charts. They reissued the album in 2009, where the highest it made on the Billboard charts was 16. Not bad for an album that had already been out for well over 2 decades. Let's see here. And let's see. I'm not going to read all of these places, but you know what? Fuck it. I got time. In Argentina, it went diamond. Australia, 16 times platinum. Austria, 8 times platinum. Canada, 2 times diamond. Denmark, 2 times platinum. Finland, platinum. France, diamond. Germany, 3 times platinum. Hong Kong, platinum. Italy, platinum. Japan, gold. Mexico, platinum, diamond, and gold. Netherlands, 8 times platinum. New Zealand, 12 times platinum. Portugal, platinum. Sweden, 4 times platinum. Switzerland, 6 times platinum. United Kingdom, 13 times platinum. United States, 33 times platinum. Worldwide sales, 66 million. I could go on and on. See, they can let them have their little moment right there, but this one album, and this is just off of one album. If I started listing all of Michael Jackson's musical achievements from Off the Wall all the way down to Invincible, we would be here for like a good hour and a half. But since this is about Thriller, we will stick to the subject at hand. So I don't care what kind of articles they put out there. I know what's to be true. As you can see, like I told you, I'm a huge MJ fan. You won't find me doing this for many artists, but this guy left a mark. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If Michael Jackson was alive and this was like back in the 80s, I would probably be one of them guys that's screaming to the top of his lungs to the point where he has no voice and probably passed out somewhere. That's the kind of effect that Michael Jackson had. He had grown men out there passing out and screaming. But I'm going to end the video off right here. I hope y'all learned something with this. See, I'm so wrapped up, I almost forgot my little outro. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be down below. I will talk to you in the next one.